Hey guys, what's good? JJJBoxing here. And today I want to talk about. I have been making a lot of videos of Terrence Crawford lately because it's a hot topic, but I'm going to make another one here. I want to talk about Terrence Crawford versus Canelo at 168. Now, apparently, um, he's accepted to go up to 168 now. Crawford says that the weight shouldn't be a problem. He wants to be great, and he's willing to go up 3 weight classes now. I know before it was talked about like a catch weight maybe. Like this is still, it was a fantasy kind of fight before, but after the Spence fight, it's becoming more real. But I think it was more like people thought maybe catch weight or like, I don't know, maybe 160, but I don't even know. Canelo doesn't even like to go down to 160 no more. So, but I think I heard Canelo say in an interview that it would have to be at 168 if Crawford wants to get it on with him. So Crawford has agreed though that he would fight him at 168, and that means that he would move up 3 weight divisions. That hasn't been done in, I can't remember the last time someone moved up 3 weight divisions, not only to fight a regular fight, but to fight the champion, the undisputed champion at that weight. I can't remember the last time that's done. I know, like, what comes to mind is Manny Pacquiao when he went up from 135 to 147 to fight Oscar De La Hoya. I think it was, I forget what fight it was. If he beat Marquez at 135 or was it David Diaz? I forget what fight it was. But he went from 135 to 147. And De La Hoya wasn't like in his prime anymore. So this would be, I guess you could say Canelo's not in his prime anymore either. But definitely I think De La Hoya was maybe more past his prime, I would say, at that point than Canelo is. Because Canelo's still, I don't know, like it's hard to say if he's still in his prime. I would say he's not getting any better. But yeah, didn't look impressive in the Triple G third fight. But anyway, I still think that it would be a bigger accomplishment if Crawford went up and beat Canelo than Pacquiao going up to beat Oscar De La Hoya, just because Canelo is still more in his prime than Oscar De La Hoya was, and it's 3 weight classes. It's 168. It's not like 135 to 147 is not that big of a jump, really. What is that? 13 pounds, whereas 147 to 168 is like 20 pounds. So, but we'll see how Canelo looks at in the Charlo fight. If he beats him convincingly and looks very good, it will obviously make Crawford fighting him even more crazy, more exciting. People will be more hyped for it if it actually does go through, and it will be a bigger accomplishment for Crawford if he can get it done. But if he looks bad and he beats Charlo, or if Charlo beats him, then we might not even be talking about this, right? Well, we'll still be talking about him facing the winner, but I'm saying, like, if Canelo ends up beating Charlo and he doesn't look good, it won't do as much for Crawford as if Canelo looked good in the fight, but it will still be, either way, it's a win-win for Crawford. If he goes up 3 divisions and even loses to Canelo, it would be still beneficial to him, at least attempting it. And you would have to put him among the greatest fighters in recent memory. You would have to put him with, going back to Pacquiao and Mayweather, he would be a mentioned amongst them. You would have to, I think, just because that kind of feat. And I'm not saying like Canelo is a really good fighter. He faced top competition. I thought he lost against Golovkin both times. The first one I thought he clearly lost. Second fight was close, but I still thought he lost. So Canelo is a good fighter, but I think Crawford is better just because the way Crawford has been dealing with people lately is just, he's dealing with these guys like how an all-time great deals with top competition. You get him out of there, right? And that's what Pacquiao was doing in his prime, right? That's what like all these great fighters would do in their prime. Like Tyson Fury recently. All the all-time greats, right? They usually take out the competition in dramatic fashion, but you rarely see fighters take out the top competition in dramatic fashion. Like even all-time greats sometimes struggle to look impressive against the other top fighters, which I'm not saying that Crawford's resume is better than a lot of other guys like Pacquiao's resume or Mayweather or whoever in recent memory, but I'm saying is like you don't really see guys dismantle guys the way he's dismantling them at the highest level, like what he made to Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Amir Khan. Obviously, you wouldn't really count that because he gets knocked out by quite a bit of people, but the Kell Brook and the Sean Porter and the Spence, top guys like Kavalauskas, tough, young, hungry fighters. He's quit or hurting them bad that they don't want to continue, right? Yeah, like you got to give it to Crawford for being. He's going to be in the contention for one of the greatest fighters of the last little while, with Floyd and Pacquiao of the last 20 years. If he can challenge Canelo, if this fight actually happens and he beats Canelo, you gotta mention amongst that. Now, do you put him in the greatest fighters of all time if he beats him? It's hard to say because he's only recently really beaten. Really, I don't know, because at the lighter weights he did undispute, but really, yeah, like I think you would maybe have to be honest. You would have to put him, depending on how he does it. I think you would have to put him in the top fighters of all time, maybe, yeah. But I know of recent memory, you would have to it'd be Pacquiao, Floyd, and him. You could put like Golovkin. I think he was pretty much indestructible. In the last, when he was on that run, no one could beat him, and he showed it when he fought Canelo, right? Like the first time, no one could really touch him. Yeah, like Tyson Fury, Lennox Lewis. He'd be among those kind of caliber guys. You know what I mean? Marquez, like you would have to put him there. Yeah, like to where I put him on the all-time list, I really don't know, but I think you would have to put him in the recent times, the last 20 years. He would be in the top 10 for sure if he can beat Canelo. Like I put him, he's definitely the top fighter right now, but anyway, how do you think this fight would go, guys, if it actually did happen? My crazy take on it is, call me crazy, I think Crawford could do it. Like the way Canelo, his style is too, styles make fights, so like it's hard to say how the fight would go stylistically, but you could see Canelo getting frustrated against Crawford if he can't land the big shot. And the way he looked at with Triple G the third time didn't look that great. Obviously, Caleb Plant was doing good against him. He got the knockout though, so you can't really take anything away from him there. Who else did he fight? Oh yeah, Bivol. That was just, he bit off too much than he could chew there. Like, yeah, he took too much of a bite of something he couldn't handle there. Going into that fight, I've said it many times, I thought Bivol was going to beat him. Just too skilled, and he's way bigger. Well, not way bigger, but he's used to the bigger guys, right? So, to be honest, it's hard to really say, but I think the Golovkin third fight kind of made me think, okay, is Golovkin kind of like, is he reached his peak, right? Not that he's severely declining or anything. And I know he had that surgery after that fight. He had what was it, shoulder or elbow, I think, that he had. Canelo, that he had to get worked on, that he had, it was a reoccurring injury that he wasn't getting dealt with, so he was fighting with it for the last like couple of years, I think it was, or something. So that's why he said he didn't do good in that fight, if I remember. And he used that for the Bivol fight as well, but I don't think he would have beat Bivol anyway. But maybe that's why he didn't look great in the Triple G fight. But yeah, like seeing that performance against Triple G was coming on strong actually late in that fight, and Canelo was fading. It makes you the odds a bit closer, to be honest. And then the only issue is, it's just Canelo's used to fighting bigger guys, but will that matter really? People don't understand that. Not too long ago, Floyd made him look like nothing, and that was one of Floyd's better wins, in my opinion. It was actually one of his more dominant wins. I don't think Canelo really won. You could say he didn't even win a round, maybe one round. I remember, like, it was embarrassing, kind of. I kind of felt bad for Canelo. His head was getting snapped back with the jab, I remember. Like, yeah, like, I'm not really a big on Floyd's style. Like, I think it's boring, but that fight, he did put hands on Canelo quite a bit, I'm not going to lie. Usually, Floyd's just pot on, but that fight, he was actually landing a lot on Canelo, I remember. So, if Floyd's a small guy, and Crawford, I would say, is stronger than Floyd, you could argue who has the better reflexes, Floyd or him, but you can't argue that Crawford's way stronger or way more powerful than Floyd. It's just who you picking in a street fight, right? You're picking Crawford. Crawford would easily beat Floyd on the street, like in a fight to the death. But in a boxing match, we'll never know, obviously. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if Floyd could do that to Canelo, and Canelo's obviously put on weight, but it's not like he's put on length or like he hasn't gotten taller. So, like, and I know he was really green when he fought Floyd, but still, like, he's obviously gotten a lot better. So obviously it would be tougher for Crawford since Canelo is better than when Canelo fought Floyd, but still, like, I don't think people think the size would be a huge disadvantage for Crawford, but when you think about it, they're like the same height, I think, 5'8", around there, 5'8", 5'9", and I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford had the longer arms. He probably does. I don't have BoxRec up right now, BoxRec, but I assume Crawford maybe has the longer arms. Check that out, guys, if I'm wrong. I think he does. So the only thing is Canelo's accommodated to the weight class, and he's used to fighting bigger guys. So that would be an advantage, and he's used to taking the bigger guy's punch, right? But as styles go, and as the fight goes, is it hard to see Canelo outboxing Canelo the whole night and just frustrating Canelo? Like, when you actually think about it like that, it's not far-fetched to think Crawford could just outbox him the whole night and make him look kind of silly. It's actually not far-fetched. Like, for him to stop Canelo, though, or knock him down, that's a different story. I don't know if he could maybe get a knockdown. I don't know, but a knockout, wow, that'd be something. So, how do you think this fight, though, would go, guys? I'm thinking I favor Crawford, to be honest. But, like, we'll see how Canelo looks against Charlo. But Charlo, I think, is not as good as Crawford, so we'll see how that fight goes, because that will really say a lot about where Canelo is after, like, I think he had that surgery and stuff, so we'll see how he looks. Because he hasn't fought since the Bivol fight, right? Yeah, Bivol was the last fight he had, I think. Or am I wrong? I kind of forget. Time goes by so, like, quickly, you kind of forget. So, yeah, he hasn't fought since the Bivol fight, right? Or, no, since the Triple G fight, sorry. The Triple G fight was his last fight, I think. Or did he fight? Actually, no, he fought John Ryder, didn't he? Yeah, he fought John Ryder. I didn't even watch that fight. I remember, like, I didn't really care. I didn't care about that fight. It didn't really get me going. Yeah, so that was his last fight, the John Ryder. So actually, yeah, I got to go back and watch that, because, like, I forget how well he did in that. I don't know if he was... Let me know, guys. Did he do good in that fight? I forgot he fought John Ryder. Yeah, so I got to go back and watch that. Yeah. But yeah, like so I'll get back to you guys on that one. But yeah, I remember I missed that because it wasn't really. I don't think I really cared. It wasn't really promoted the same way, and I just like I kind of just missed it. I was like, oh, that's on, and then I seen like just highlight feeds on my YouTube page. I'm like, oh, didn't know he was even fighting really. So yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch that. But from what I've seen, that was coming back from the surgery. So let me know how you guys thought he looked in the John Ryder fight. I know in the Triple G3 fight, he didn't look impressive. Triple G was coming on late. And then in the Bivol fight, Bivol's just too good, you know? So, yeah. I just favor Canelo just because I think he has the better boxing skills. And I think he could frustrate Canelo. And the size might not even come into effect, really, when you think about it. So it's not really far fetched. But if Canelo can cut off the ring and land shots on Crawford, then it's a different story. We might have like, okay, yeah, John Ryder. Oh, I thought he got a knockout. I remember. Oh, he dropped him. Okay, yeah. Canelo dropped John Ryder pretty good in that fight, I remember, and he was all like banged up. Yeah, but he did. He got a unanimous decision. Okay, all right. So yeah, yeah. If Canelo can't like get a hold of Crawford, I think it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem for Canelo for sure. Um, but yeah, like I gotta say, at this point, if the fight happens, huge legacy fight. Crawford would cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters in the last like 20 years, I would say. If not, put him on the best of all time list. I don't know where you would put him. He'd at least be in the top 50, right? You would think at least top 50, maybe top 30. But yeah, because that's a huge jumps, and it's not like Canelo's super old or anything. Um, yeah, so I would at this point in time, I would say I'm calling right now. If the fight happens, Crawford by unanimous decision. Depending on how Canelo looks against Charlo, I might change it a little bit. If he looks bad, I might say Canelo or Crawford by knockout, but I doubt I would change it to that. I don't think Canelo's really durable. So if Triple G's not dropping Canelo, I don't see anyone. He would have to really decline for Crawford to knock him out, or Crawford's just some kind of like he's more of a freak than we thought or something. I just don't see that, but yeah, I see Crawford by decision against Canelo if it was going to happen. But yeah, who knows if it'll even ever happen, right? But if Canelo can get a hold of him, cut off the ring, and land, he just got to land one clean shot. You never know. Crawford's not used to fighting a guy who's that heavy. He's not accommodated to that weight if he was just in a move up instantly 3 weight classes. So yeah, that could be the only thing really. But I think if it's going the distance, I gotta say Crawford. But yeah, guys, let me know. What do you think of Crawford accepting the challenge? Canelo's challenge must be at 168, undisputed, for all those belts. If Canelo can beat Charlo, obviously. What do you think of Crawford accepting that? Do you think he would be one of the best fighters ever if he won that fight, or just one of the best fighters of recent time? Let me know in the comments. And who do you have in that fight? Let me know. This is Triple J Boxing. Take care.